So did Team Spurs cheat at the NBA Skills Challenge? Was Stephon Castle robbed at the dunk contest?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Happy Monday, everybody. If you're off today, happy President's Day. Hope you're enjoying your day off. We're going to get back to work tomorrow, but if you're back at work today, we're going to get you through it right here on Locked On Spurs, your number one and only spot for all things silver and black. Be sure to subscribe over at YouTube, where else? Kens 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify. I mean, pick a platform. We are there. Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below on YouTube. Big link there. It says LO Spurs newsletter. Click on that. Completely free. Hits your email inbox every single day. Today's episode was brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. So what are we talking about today? We're looking back at All-Star Weekend, or the Spurs at All-Star Weekend. There's quite the representation of the silver and black. Some controversy. We'll talk about that with Team Spurs. Stephon Castle with the dunk contest. And then how did the rookie and Wembanyama look at All-Star Game Sunday? By the way, everybody, apparently it's official. Yeah, Castle was at the All-Star Game, but he's not officially an All-Star. See, I'm trying, just as much as Team Spurs trying to hack the skills challenge, I was trying to hack the label of an all-star. I thought, well, technically Castle's at the all-star Sunday, right? Isn't he an all-star? So you know what? We'll talk about that likely with our guest, Mr. Joe Garcia from Area 210 podcast in just a few seconds. But yeah, look, overall good showing for the Spurs. A lot of San Antonio representation from Wemby to Chris Paul to Castle. And we get Castle winning the Rising Stars game MVP. So good on him. He went to the dunk contest finals. Wemby played pretty good at the All-Star game itself. So, again, we're going to tell that. But I think the big controversy happened at the NBA Skills Challenge. So, in case you didn't know, Wemby and Team Spurs tried to hack the game. They tried to just chuck the ball up at the rim versus formally taking shots. Apparently, according to reports, Wembanyama tried to ask several people, if it's allowed. At least that's what Draymond Green said. And according to Draymond Green, that Wemby was given the thumbs up, but apparently no. Spurs were disqualified from the event. So, yeah. So did they cheat? Should they have been disqualified? No, let's talk about that right now with our guest. As promised, everybody, we said he was going to close out last week with us, and he's going to start the new week with us. Joe, we kept our promises, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did. We kept our promise. I was telling you, that I would also be available on Monday as well if you needed me to step in. In case it brings somebody big times you.
Oh, well, we know what we're talking about, don't we? Jimenez.
Wink.
Yeah, wink, wink, yeah. That is Joe Garcia. Make sure to follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. You see that little alien above his head right now? You're watching on YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Move out of the way. Go to that site or on YouTube. Just type in Area 210 and you'll see Joe and that little alien there. Subscribe and take a listen to their show because he and Jimenez, it'll get your day going. Trust me. Your day will go flying by. Again, follow Joe on X at Area 210 Podcast. Joe, let's go and dive right into it, man. Let's start off with the big controversy, and that is Team Spurs at the Skills Challenge. I pretty much set it up in the intro. Team Spurs was disqualified, DQ'd. It's funny because after they were told they were DQ'd, the audio picked up Chris Paul saying, okay, whatever, moving on. And then Wemby was all, what? No. Joe, Team Spurs got booed. They got booed at the event. That's insane. And apparently it was all Wemby's idea. Everybody thought it was Chris Paul. It was Wemby. But at the end of the day, the big question is, did they hack the system? Should it have been allowed? Did they cheat? What did you think?
Oh, man. Do we really want to go there, man? Because I'm going to give you my opinion. Spurs don't really get asked to go and participate in the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities, right? It's a lot of, far and few between, many years before they get asked to participate. So this year, excited Spurs fans, they were like, man, we have Wemby, Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, and Mira, we get to see Wemby again on the All-Star game. A great weekend, man. On paper, I was like, man, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the skills challenge. I want to see my guys win. And then they go and do something like this. Kind of disappointed.
Here comes Joe.
Because I'm going to be like this, it's really not a lot to do about nothing because it is an NBA All-Star weekend. It's a skills challenge. But when the Spurs don't get asked to the big dance very often,
right.
And then you finally get asked and you have Victor Wembanyama, who a lot of people are looking at right now, right? A lot of eyes on him. And then you try to hack the system. I'm just like, why? I know that he asked NBA executives, but my biggest gripe is instead of asking NBA executives, why don't you spend time reading the actual rules? Because if you do, it says that in the shooting portion of the skills challenge, you have to at least attempt a shot. It says a shot. It doesn't say 3. It doesn't say 2. You have to attempt a shot. So technically speaking, was he wrong to hack? No, he's just trying to find a way to win. But if he would have read the rules, if they would have each of them at least attempted a shot, they would have been good. There's nothing that they could have done to them at that point. You attempt a shot, you just throw the rest of the balls away, and you keep going about your business. If you knock them down, you knock them down. But at least the time would be good, right? But by attempting no shots, that's really what disqualified them. And it's like, egg on your face, kind of, haha, not funny, but funny,
right?
Because you didn't read the rules. You're relying on NBA executives. And let's be honest here. Does an NBA executive really know the rule book top to bottom? Probably not,
Well, it didn't work because they got disqualified. So, or as Draymond Green said, sure, Wemby asked around, but did he ask the right people? In my opinion, Joe, I don't think they cheated. I don't think there was anything wrong with what they did. Again, you brought up the rule, and I'm glad you did. But it didn't describe exactly how to take the shots. It didn't say you must have it in perfect form, hold your hand with the ball, and cock back and shoot. They just said attempts. They just said attempts. They said attempts.
A attempt. A attempt. It didn't say you have to do a lot. Just at least one.
Okay. And then so I think the Team Spurs, Wemby found a loophole. Because it is true. It didn't, the rule, if you look at the rule or just heard what Joe said, they didn't describe it. They just said attempts. All right. So everybody has different attempts, right? Also, too, the goal of the game is to have the best time, not the one who makes the most shot points in the obstacle course. So no, I don't think Team Spurs cheated. I don't think any of that. I think they just try to, just hack the game. I mean, they're trying, right? Wemby was trying to think outside the box. I think the Team Spurs should not have been disqualified at all. They found a loophole. They did it. Now, you could expect next season the NBA is going to fine-tune those rules. You know that's coming, Joe. They're going to say, you must have proper form and grab the ball as if taking an in-game 3-shot or a 2-shot. That's coming. But as far as the game this past Saturday, no, I have no issues. I don't think Team Spurs cheated. I think they just found a loophole. They exposed it. Good on you, Wemby. Your thoughts?
No, I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, but I'm like, again, read the rule book before you go out there and ask the executives. As Draymond said, they're asking the wrong people, and this is a competitive sport. So you think the guys...
When you mean Wemby, you mean Wemby, not they. It was Wemby's idea.
I'm saying,
Chris Paul's, yeah.
People, the other teams that you're being competitive against, you think they're going to try to tell you, oh, no, you should go ahead and ask so-and-so. Why? I wouldn't. If that's what they want to do, let them go ahead and do that. They're going to disqualify themselves. And the players probably knew. But the rule book clearly states this. Both players have to share one basketball. Each player must attempt at least one shot. One shot. And teams can't make consecutive shots from the same spot. There you go.
Okay, there you go.
How are reading that I was able to pull this up and they couldn't do that? I mean, come on.
But Joe, can you also read to me where it says how to take those attempts?
It doesn't say. It says you have to at least make at least one shot attempt, right? They must attempt at least one shot. So it means,
and technically, didn't Team Spurs do that?
No, they did not. They beat the ball. They just got it because they took the balls.
They didn't describe how to take the attempt. They just take a shot. And I attempted it by just kind of throwing it up. That's my attempt.
There was no attempt there. That's the problem. If they would have at least attempted and missed it and airballed it, they would have gotten away with it. But since they didn't do that,
no.
Funny, not funny, you know?
No.
I not funny.
I lean towards the black and white. It did in black and white. Did it?
You're trying the good versus the evil on the little shoulder, and yet you put it away and say, "I'm agreeing with Wemby," and I'm like, "No."
This is just me reading the rule, and there is no rule that described how to take the shot. It just said
you have to at least attempt one shot.
Joe, what if I walk to the park and I say, "This is how I attempt shots"? I just kind of put it on my side here and I just throw it up. That's fine.
What does the rule say? If you're going to attempt a shot, you have to have your feet planted on the ground. At least try to look like you're going to take a shot. The funny thing is that it says you have to at least attempt a shot, right? But it doesn't say you have to attempt the shot with the ball in your hand. So you could just go and throw the rest of the balls on the ground. Hey, I attempted, right?
I attempted it, but look, I think it was a smart move. I think it was a good move on the Wemby to at least try it. What do you got to lose? Well, obviously, a chance of winning it, but nevertheless, I don't think Team Spurs cheated or hacked the system. No, actually, I think they did hack the system, but in a fair way, like fair hacking. But
this is Chris Paul's last, hurrah there with the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, Chris Paul didn't even care that
he throws out like this joke. He's just there for fun, man. He don't even care if you won or lost.
Or as Draymond said, that Chris Paul followed Wemby right off the cliff. So
yeah, man, and he's like,
exactly what happened.
He's like, I got a front row seat. I'm here. I'm just enjoying the weekend. I don't care if I win.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. He is Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. Follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. And that's exactly how All-Star Week is started for the Spurs with the DQ of Team Spurs, but there was light at the end of the tunnel, at least for All-Star Saturday.
Were you even trying to tank the skills challenge this year?
There you go, Joe. You got it there.
Softly, tanking softly.
Okay, right? Joe. Yeah, that's definitely for another episode of the tanking. But when we get back, we're going to put the spotlight on Stephon Castle. He had himself an All-Star Saturday and also too doing good on the Rising Stars game, which was on Friday. But nevertheless, his All-Star weekend was pretty cool. Took home some hardware. We're going to be discussing that in just a few seconds with Joe Garcia, again, the Area 210 Podcast. But first, let's talk about Hungry Root.
When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out. I'd go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle too. But everything has changed when I discovered Hungry Root. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommending meals, groceries based on my taste, health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high-protein, gluten-free options. And the best part, every meal is ready within 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to my door. It's been a huge time saver and has made healthy eating so much simpler. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA. Do not miss out.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. Make sure to follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. Check out his show on YouTube, Area 210 Podcast. Just look at that alien that you see above his head on the YouTube side of things, and you know you're at the right spot. Well, everybody, I'm still under the weather. I'm still sick, man. I'm almost out of the woods. I'm like,
no, you man. You need to go over there and rub some Vicks on you, man.
Nah, we're gonna pass on that. We're gonna pass on that right now. We're talking about the Spurs at All-Star Weekend. We just talked about Team Spurs. This now shift to Stephon Castle, who had himself a weekend. He probably had the best weekend. As a matter of fact, I got his quote here, Joe. Let's go ahead and pull that up here.
No,
he said that he said, quote, "I'd say it was a successful weekend. I got to participate in the event all 3 days as a rookie. I feel like that's a successful weekend." And quote, that was Stephon Castle. And he did. Played just really well in the Rising Stars game Friday night. Scored 6 points in the opening game. Scored 12 points in the final game. Hit the game winner. Did it all. Was getting so many accolades, so many props. Took home the Rising Stars MVP. That was a good performance by the rookie, wasn't it?
It was a great performance by the rookie. Very proud of Stephon Castle for actually competing in the NBA All-Star Weekend festivity. Really proud of him, man. He didn't try to hack the system. He went out there and played, and you know what? He came away with the trophy. How about that, man? He participated.
Joe, if you had a chance to hack a system, you would do it.
No, man. It's a competitive sport. How are you going to hack a competitive sport? You go out there and play, man. Hey, try to win.
If it works, it works. That's what I say. If it works, it works. You can see it on your screen there. Stephon Castle with the MVP trophy from the Rising Stars games. Not bad. It's pretty cool. Very happy moment. And what a perfect way for him to start his All-Star weekend. And which leads us to the Slam Dunk Contest. Now, heading into the Slam Dunk Contest after the Rising Stars game, he said that he was going to win it. Flat out. There's a video of him saying, "Come back to me when I win the dunk contest." And he got close. He went to the dunk finals against now the 3-time champ, Matt McClung. The big issue among a lot of NBA fans, not just Spurs fans, just NBA fans, was props versus no props. Stephon Castle didn't use any props in any of his dunks. He didn't try to dunk them over anybody. He didn't try to use a ladder, as we saw with Matt McClung. He didn't drive out a car to try to jump over like Matt McClung. However, Matt McClung used a lot of props, from a car to ladder to, jumping over Evan Mobley. It was just a lot of prop stuff like that. What do you think about that? Do you think Castle was robbed because he tried to use more of his just natural athleticism versus McClung? He used athleticism and props.
Well, the thing is, the disparity that you're seeing here, as somebody who's already been in the NBA All-Star dunk contests or slam dunk contests, and McClung, he understands that you have to win the crowd and that using props will make your dunks look that much better, right?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, when you're looking at McClung, he's using a lot of the same old dunks, a rehash, right? But it looks nice because you're using props, right? You're using a car. You have your boys out there. One guy's on a ladder. The other guy's out there on that little hoverboard spinning around, a la the little mascot from the Magic back in the day,
The Aaron Gordon dunk.
Yeah, so it's like, I understand, props do help, but let's be honest here with McClung too, not taking anything away from him. The guy's clutch, man. He went out there and he knocked down all his dunks, and he did them in the first try. I mean, you can't fault the guy for that. He was looking great out there and he won the crowd, showed him something, to get them excited. I understand that. But when you look at Stephon Castle and what he was able to do and how he competed, he was just being a professional basketball player. And when you're an NBA player, you don't necessarily need those fancy little, props and stuff that they put out there, because you're using your natural God-given gifts, right? Him being a rookie, he's already got youth on his side, right? Speed, athleticism. Kid has the whole package. And he did some things out there and the dunk contest that I hadn't seen before. And I was like, man, this kid's special, dude. Look at his athleticism on full display there. And it even made, the announcers, and not only that, but the judges kind of like, wow, look at this kid. He's doing a heck of a job. Really proud of Stephon Castle. If you take the props out of the equation, Stephon Castle is the winner. And the thing that I have a gripe about, of anything, Jeff, is the scoring. Why is it that Matar Buzeles is given a 40 if he didn't even execute his first dunk? He didn't execute it, and the judges give him a 40. And then you have somebody like Stephon Castle who actually dunked. He made his first dunk, and he's given a 47. You should get a 0 if you don't complete your dunk. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I go back to what really screwed him up in the finals was the judge. Again, that YouTuber kid, I don't even know who he is, gave him a 49, and everybody else gave him a 50. At that one point was the big difference. I thought if they gave him a 50, it was going to go to a dunk off. I said, okay, this is going to go to a dunk off. But that YouTuber screwed Stephon Castle. As a matter of fact, let's see what Castle had to say after the game, and he pretty much feels like, yeah, his first dunk attempt in the finals should have been a 50.
Yeah, I feel like I should have got a 50. I lost the first one, so I mean, I kind of understand the 49, but I mean, I feel like it should have been a 50. Yeah, I think, I mean, just the little add of creativity kind of pushes you over the edge. I mean, I don't. It's not my call to say who had the better dunks, so that's up to them, and I guess they went with Matt.
There you have it. He can tell he's like, yeah, the creativity props swayed the judges. And here's my thing to you now. If that is true, and if you just studied the dunk contests and what Mac McClung has done, then yeah, maybe Castle should have done it too. I mean, if that's what they're going to go with, then Castle maybe should have come prepared. In part of your dunk bag is, okay, I do have something where I got to use a prop.
Yeah. What did I tell you?
What's that?
Remember the previous episode when I was on it, right? And we're kind of talking about Stephon Castle, right? And him going to the dunk contest. Didn't I tell you, man, it'd be nice if he used a prop, right? Maybe he's First Coyote or Tori the Tower, the mascot, Tori the Tower. You know, the mascot for the tower is a tower. He could have jumped over the tower or something, you know. People in San Antonio would have known what that is, you know. Yeah, the rest of the crowd be like, what is this? But if he would have had the Coyote or something out there helping him, he could have won, you know.
Yeah, he could have won, yeah. I think it should have gone on a dunk off. I really do. I mean, the from props to no props. I mean, Stephon Castle got 50s. Thank you, YouTuber boy, whoever you are. I was on the judges panel. He got 50 in the second dunk, you know, the one he completed. So I was bracing for that. But McClung, you know, I'm not gonna take anything away from him. You know, he's definitely super leaper, definitely athletic. He does. I like the way he finishes with power. He finishes with you know, he puts it in.
Everybody in that arena knows what they know. Wemby, right? What's his nickname? The Alien.
Yep.
He could have had a little alien or something out there, right?
Yep.
Holding the ball. He could have jumped over the alien, or he could have had Wemby out there dressed up as an alien.
Yep.
Holding the basketball for him or something. Bring the alien theme, the vibe into the whole thing, because they already know the alien is there. He's in attendance. He could have used him to his advantage, and he didn't. And I think that's really what cost him at the end of the day. The lack of the prop on Stephon Castle's.
Oh yeah, well you just heard it from you just heard from Castle. Yeah, you just heard from Castle right now. Castle just flat out said it. He goes, the creativity props was what swayed the judges. But look, he came up short. But I mean, good on him. You know, he went to the finals. That's the furthest I think that any Spur in a dunk contest went. You pushed the defending champ to the brink because McClung had to get 50s in order to win.
Oh no,
just keep that in mind. He had to get perfect scores. So, but man, it's just I just wanted a dunk off. Just give me a dunk off because I think that would have helped kind of breathe some life in the dunk contest. Because people would look back and like, whoa, it went to a dunk off, and he said it was cool because everybody's been kind of bashing the dunk contest the last few years. But good on Castle. But we didn't hit on this though. We're gonna be talking about that in a few seconds. Because you know how we talked about how the Rising Stars team that Castle was on, they won that event. Well, they got a chance to advance to the All-Star Sunday game. So we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast, who needs to be hired by Steph Castle because Steph Castle did not shut the door on returning to the dunk contest. He left.
I would have let him use my little alien logo right above me. He could have used that.
Hey, talk about a promotion for you, man. That would have been awesome. But we're going to talk about All-Star Sunday where Wemby and Steph Castle played. We're going to be talking about that in just a few seconds again with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. But first, let's talk about FanDuel.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on that than with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, I never feel like I miss a chance. Plus, with the app, it's easy to use. When you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You just want to go to FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. How about that? Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the San Antonio Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Joe Garcia of Area 210 Podcast. Go on YouTube, type in the search bar, Area 210 Podcast, sign up and subscribe right now. We're talking about All-Star Sunday now. And Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle got to play in the new format, a tournament style. So they had 4 teams. So they had Team Charles Barkley, Team Shaq, Team Katie Smith, and then they had Team Candace Parker, which took on the Rising Stars team that won that Rising Stars event, and that included Stephon Castle. And right off the bat, Stephon Castle and the team Rising Stars had to take on the Team OGs. And I think that game was probably the most exciting, because the young Bucks took the OGs to the brink, didn't they?
Yeah, they took them to the brink. You know, it was good to see some competitiveness there. You know, of course, Shaq's OGs came away as the victors. You know, you had you had the Global Stars, and you had was it the Kenny's Young Stars? That's what it was. Kenny's Young Stars, and that was cool to see. You know, Stephon Castle out there doing his thing. Rightfully so. You know, he was the MVP, showing what he's got. I mean, I think everybody's seeing what this kid can do, and they know that he's going to be special. You know, so I'm really proud of Stephon Castle getting his moment to shine.
Yeah, unfortunately, Team Rising Stars did not advance. They lost to Team OGs, who were not playing with LeBron James, who sat out because of injury. But nevertheless, it really was the young Bucks. They took the OGs to the brink. You know, I think they could have won it, because Castle missed that wide open dunk, and then another teammate of his on Rising Stars missed a couple of layups. So I think they could have really made things even more interesting than what they did. But nevertheless, fortunately for Castle, it was an early exit for him. But again, you know, as he said, you know, he got to play in all 3 days, successful. Took home that MVP for the Rising Stars game. All in all, good game. And by the way, if anything that really should be like right up there for him was that it kind of was his low-key coming out party. People really started to see, who is this guy in San Antonio? This guy's a gem. This guy is a great two-way player. They were talking about how he's built for the NBA, his demeanor, the hype video they made for him. They call him the Quiet Storm. Yeah, it was a great coming out party for him, at least to show everybody outside of San Antonio that there's another budding star in San Antonio outside of Wemby. So I think that was kind of a big thing for Castle this weekend. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I thought it was too. I mean, they did take him to the brink. You know, the final score, Team Shaq was 42, and Team Candace, the Candace Rising Stars, was 35. A few little miscues here and there, but they could have easily, I think, won that game had they not made some mistakes, you know, down the stretch here that kind of cost them the game. But it shows, you know, the experience won at the end. But the young Bucks, man, I bet you they had the OGs sweat. They were scared. Like, man, we're gonna go down to these young Bucks out here. But Stephon Castle, man, he, like I said, he had his time to shine, and it was very very good in my eyes to see him out there representing the silver and black. And I got to tell you, Jeff, he might not be labeled an all-star, but in Spurs fans' minds and in my mind, he is a bona fide all-star. Yeah. He's at the NBA All-Star weekend. Just because you weren't in the NBA All-Star game per se The kid's an all-star, man.
Oh,
I bet you anything, Jeff, he's going to probably be back there again sometime.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before he gets an all-star berth, like legit all-star uniform, either be a reserve or a starter. It's just a matter of time. By the way, he was asked after the game, that's Castle, about going up against the OGs. And he says, quote, "We play those guys year round, so we all share the league together. They've been doing that for a minute now, but at the end of the day, it's still basketball. We'll go out there and just compete." So he wasn't afraid of the big bad OGs on the other side. And didn't win, but hey, Castle came to compete. Good on Castle. But Wembanyama, he got to play in the finals of the tournament and against the OG. So basically, it was pretty much the closer you're going to get to a world versus USA, because Team Chuck, they had a sprinkle of American players, like Trae Young was on there. By the way, that was the closest we got to see Wemby and Trae Young share the court together. Yeah, a little note on that. But for a finals game, it was kind of lackluster. It really was. Team OGs came out strong, 11-1 to start the game. You really had the team Charles Barkley, Wemby's team, on their heels. Yeah, Wemby had a dunk here and there, blocked some shots, but it was kind of a finals, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. I know what they were trying to do, kind of making it more like a tourney style.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem so exhibitionist, right? But it was still an exhibition game. It had all the makings of an exhibition game. Nobody really's playing defense. They're kind of backing away off of everybody. I mean, it is what it is at this juncture. It's just a culmination of the league's best and brightest stars out there, kind of showcasing their talents for the fans and putting on a good show for them. It's just purely for entertainment purposes. Yeah. And I mean, it's something that the league's doing every year for ratings, and trying to bring in that younger crowd. They have their performances and all that everybody's seeing, as well as, during the halftime pre-show and all that kind of stuff. So I understand what it's all about. And they're trying to make it a little bit more exciting, but it's still an exhibition game at the end.
Right.
So, the diehard fans are going to watch it, but they're still going to be like, it's kind of boring, because it's not really a true bona fide game where you would see like your superstars going one-on-one with each other for an extended period of time. If they do it, they kind of just do it lacklusterly. They're not really trying to embarrass the other person, you know what I mean, out of respect. But you can tell that they kind of want to go, but they don't, So I would like to see the one-on-ones. Can you imagine if you had the league's brightest stars going at it, and it was kind of like a 3-on-3 tourney, or it was like one-on-one, going to like 15 points or something, which is what they had the women doing. And I did see that. And that was interesting to me. I mean, it was kind of lackluster and boring. But if you had the league's brightest stars going one-on-one with each other, hey, man, I think that would be exciting to see. And for the fans, be like, hey, man, check this out. What if they were competing for a spot on the NBA All-Star game, right? Like you go one-on-one and whoever wins moves on, and they get to go ahead and compete in the NBA All-Star game. And the losers go to another bracket. So it's the winners versus the losers to see who's going to win. I would like that, Jeff.
Yeah, and I know you said there was not that much defense, but credit to all the teams in the tournament. There was some defense played. There was actually some defense played, and I'll take it for an All-Star game. I'll take whatever, because that's what those biggest knock is like. They don't
you have a block.
Yeah, block. You saw, Dame Lillard and I think it was Keontae George. They fighting for a rebound. They had to go to a jump ball. You saw Steph Castle pickpocket player. So there was some defense played. So I like that. Now the format, I was okay with it. It was, at least a step in the right direction.
Yeah, style.
It was okay, fine. And yes, it did make for a little competitiveness, a little bit. Except for that last final game. Of all the games that was lacking competitiveness was that game. But interesting though, after Steph Castle and the Rising Stars team was bounced out of the tournament, Steph Castle was asked about the format, and he said that he wants it to go back to East-West. So he likes that OG vibe, the East team. So East players versus the West players. So he's voted for that to go back to it. But all in all, again, Wemby just representing the Spurs, and I think they got some dunks in. They had him mic'd up during the game, and he's taking it seriously. He's telling everybody, good effort. And even pregame, Joker was giving Wemby the business because Wemby likes to read before games, and Joker saw that. Then Joker asked him, "Oh, did you really bring a book?" As in, Wemby goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I read before games." And then Joker just kind of looks down, starts kind of snickering at him. So I don't know if Joker's trying to clown on Wemby there. So nevertheless, a good game. It's been a while since the Spurs had multiple players, in this capacity. The only blemish is, again, Team Spurs. Team Spurs and the hacking of the event. Getting booed didn't help either. But overall, it was a fun, successful weekend for the Spurs. And the Spurs will resume their road trip for some days. Yeah, it's not over yet. The wait continues. They don't play again until Thursday. At least they'll be in Austin, so it's kind of close to San Antonio. But nevertheless, Joe, overall, what do you think about the All-Star weekend for the Spurs?
Overall, it was good for Stephon Castle, not so much
for him.
For the showing that Wemby and CP3 had out of the gate at the skills challenge. But, I also got to say, I was just happy to see some Spurs representation in the NBA All-Star weekend. Even though it didn't go the way that we wanted, at least they were there, So you have that to look forward to, maybe in years to come.
Yeah, so we'll see what the Spurs do to wrap up this. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that already, to wrap up the season. Yeah, when they resume play, that's it. I think with Joe, like 30 games, and we're done.
They got to go 20-10, though, to get into tourney. So you have that, Spurs fans.
Yeah, I don't know if they got 20 wins in them, Joe.
Come on. We hooping. Remember that? We hooping.
Who's that? The Devil Cell, right?
Yeah,
Devil Cell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, and of course, they start off the resume the season against Phoenix. And it's Kevin Durant day in that day because he's going to Austin and going back to UT.
Well, we don't use the word soft tank, but you can go ahead and tell me you're soft tanking without telling me you're soft tanking by having the lineups up there. Mitch Johnson, wink. Let's see what you're doing.
That's for a whole other show this week on Locked On Spurs.
Should we have the X-Files music?
We should. Yeah, get that alien behind you to play the music from X-Files, man. Yeah, he is Joe Garcia of Area 210 podcast. Follow him on X at Area 210. And Joe, tell us what's going on with your show.
Now we're going to go ahead and resume business as usual on Tuesday. We're going to do a show on Monday, but since I'm rarely off and I'm off on Monday, and Mike is also going to be busy as well, we're just going to take the day off. It's a holiday for people that are federal employees like me. So I'm going to enjoy the day off, Jeff. I'm going to enjoy. Maybe I'll go to the rodeo. It's half price on the rodeo, so maybe I'll just go out there and enjoy some funnel cake or something. But I can only have a little bit of that funnel cake, Jeff, because too much and you get tummy problems. But I heard the funnel cakes are $19, brother. $19. Hey,
if you're gonna spend some money, though, get yourself an elephant ear. Those are good.
Really?
Yeah, elephant ears are good. Yeah. Those are not from Texas and don't know what we're talking about. Elephant ear is just think of a sheet of dough with pudding on it. There's your elephant ear. That's what an elephant ear with whipped cream if you want to spend a little bit more. Yeah. But Joe, well, enjoy your day off, man. Enjoy your day off. With your friends, your family, whatever you're gonna do, relax because you're a busy man. Yeah. I'm just glad you were able to start the weekend. See, Joe, we did it. We ended last week with you. And we started this week with you.
Hey, you don't want me to pick you up some deep fried Oreos from over there, Jeff?
You know what? I went to the rodeo last year, and I was intrigued by deep fried bologna sandwiches.
Oh, no, bro. Don't do it.
Dude, I got in line. And it was like the guys were trying to protect me.
Telling you no.
I went next, and they said, we just sold out. And I was like, no. So maybe the gods, the diet gods saved me from adding about 10.
You would have had that gift that you put up. What is it? The one that says Tum Tum with the little penguin broken his tummy. That's what happened to you. You would have had that deep fried bologna, guaranteed.
I was gonna have it. I was gonna eat. I go, that sounds delicious, and I'm gonna have it.
Yeah, but you would have been running that off for what, 2 weeks at the gym?
I would have been at the gym, like probably recording this show from the gym. You're probably there. But Aaron, Joe, thank you again for taking time out of your schedule. Join us here on Locked On Spurs. We always appreciate it. And everybody, check out his show, Area 210 Podcast on YouTube. Go subscribe right now. And we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, Ken's 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. You know where to go. Also, the Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below on YouTube. It says LO Spurs, then the link newsletter. Click on that, completely free. Hits your email box every single day. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things Spurs, including a rumor that popped up out of nowhere. Yeah, find out about that in tomorrow's episode of Locked On Spurs. So for Joe Garcia, I am Jeff Garcia. We're gonna put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.